All right, folks.
Hi,
Hi, guys.
it's us.
We. We're the
Our.
problem. It's us. No, wait. Welcome back to a third Taylor Swift panel.
It's a trilogy
There
now.
we go. There we go. But yeah, show of hands. Was anybody at the one at Fan Expo Canada this past August? Nice. There we go. Anyone at the Toronto Comicon one, our first one 2 years ago, or a year ago?
Last year.
Last year.
Yeah.
This con. How's it going?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're the Swifties at con, I guess is order. Yeah. Glad to be back talking about a bit of a different angle now. Not we're gonna get into our music career about halfway through because of music videos, but Taylor Swift on screen. It's a bit of a different, bit more nerdy, bit maybe more Comic Con appropriate. Let's hope. There we go. So who are we? I'm
Clowns.
Matthew.
Oh.
Who are we? Depends. Well, first off to say, for both of us, we mainly make content about Star Wars. So this is a bit of a kind of on the side, on the angle, but we
There's overlap.
love talking about things we love and things we enjoy. So I'm Matthew, he, him. I've changed this from last year. I'm definitely a folklore guy, but also love Reputation and Reputation TV. It's got to come out eventually. I can see my socials there. My food Instagram, if you want to check that one out. I haven't seen Taylor live yet, but I did see this was 2023 with the Ears film in EMC in Manhattan. So
Yeah. I'm Ash. Whatever pronouns. I don't. It's whatever. Gender is a fluid construct thing or whatever. I don't know. My favorite albums remain Reputation, Evermore, and the Tortured Poets Department. As you could probably tell by those three things, I am very unwell. I am also an OG Swiftie, so I've been through it all with Taylor, and it's been a journey. Personal social media at Bejeweled Mothma, Bejeweled like the Taylor Swift song, Mothma like the greatest Star Wars character of all time, Mon Mothma. And briefly speaking on her, I also have Mon Mothma specific accounts. I'm doing a countdown to Andor season 2 right now. And so you can find that at Mothma Updates and on YouTube MothmaNet, because you should go watch those and you should subscribe because my friends and I are hilarious. And I've seen Taylor Swift live a total of, I'm going to say 2.5 times. Nobody wants to hear the story of what happened to me at the Reputation tour. It's horrendous. But I got to go to the Eras tour in London on night 4 with my best friend, and we saw Taylor Swift and Ed Sheeran, which was a very fun surprise for all of us because we were like, I was like clowning. I was like, wouldn't it be so funny? And then he did. So yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Clowning works.
Louis,
Is
emotional support.
Yeah, he's our emotional support. Also, sometimes our moderator.
So let's dive right in. I'll do the intro blurb just to set it up again. So we're back with another look at the reigning queen of pop's career to date. This time around, we dive into her on-screen exploits from Valentine's Day, as you can see, to The Giver, to that feline musical, to the greatest cameo in the entirety of New Girl, I would say. Spoiler alert for that. We connect back with her music career as director of her own videos, including her debut in The Man, her recent foray into with Fortnite, the epic, and we'll not get to Fortnite, but the epic and correct length version of All Too Well, and of course the Eras tour in theaters and streaming, and then we'll go full nerdy at the end with some more clowning about her potential Marvel debut. But let's kick it right off, going back to 2009, and looking back and preparing for this, it was really clear earlier in her screen career, it was a lot of cameos, SNL, Valentine's Day. I mentioned Elaine's Big Day on New Girl. She really brought the laughs. She was really giving her kind of going in as a comic relief. In SNL. It was her debut as host in 2009. There's different sketches. So, for example, opposite a very ridiculous Bill Hader and Kristen Wiig as fictional celeb interviews. So she played herself. Um, yeah, she was roommates with Nassim Pedrad and Andy Samberg's wedding date. Just different kind of roles that she's mainly a straight man, for lack of a better term, and uh, let the show regulars take the comedy, but it really showed her stage presence on screen. This SNL debut, she was really able to bring it, even if she wasn't necessarily bringing comedic lines. It wasn't really until Valentine's Day the next year. She, again, sort of smaller cameos, but um, in this feature film debut,
Yeah.
huge ensemble cast. You see Jennifer Garner right there, right? A-list star, A-list film star. Taylor had already built up a pretty good music career so far, especially in the country world. But despite this relatively small part, her performance was pretty memorable. It was, her character is pretty surfacey. And here she with she get this massive bear from her boyfriend on Valentine's Day. Um, but I remember I've only seen this movie once, and I saw it a number of years ago. But I remember it really sticking in my mind as, oh, so this character is incredibly surfacey. This character is incredibly kind of bubbly, a very typical high school student going through life, going through dating relationships and whatnot. Her bringing this over the top performance showed a lot of depth on Taylor's part to really think through what a character needs to do and be, what she needed to do and be to bring the comedy, and that was really impressive. And it was the first moment I was all, oh, I didn't know too much about her. Confession, I was definitely not a Swiftie back then, but it was my moment of, oh, there's something more to this person than simply what her reputation had suggested. And so was really impressed by that. And then 2013, uh, one of my favorite sitcoms, New Girl, and all this thing building up with Shivrang and Cece. If you guys have seen this cameo, uh, all the way to the end of this season. I forget which season it is. But she comes out of nowhere at the very end to just upend the flow of the whole season in a way that was shocking and surprising. And every time I see it, I know it's coming. I laugh every time. It's hilarious. So if you don't know, if you haven't seen it, bit of a spoiler, but I really love it. It is my favorite moment of that whole series. So I shall turn to you about looking back at her comedy career. So the early parts, what stands out to you?
Yeah, so when I was a kid, I wasn't really allowed to watch SNL. So I saw these, I haven't even seen New Girl, I'm going to be perfectly honest. So I kind of watched these out of order. So I saw Valentine's Day because I was like, I have to go and see this. It's like my favorite singer, and she's in a movie now. That's awesome. And it was actually like really funny. And it's been a while since I've seen it. I didn't get a chance to rewatch it before doing this, but it was just so big for me because the only other time I'd seen her on screen was in Hannah Montana, the movie. And that was a teeny tiny ass role. And I did get a chance to rewatch that one. And I don't want to get weird, but watching it and being like, oh, I used to love this movie, and being like, oh, yep, you're actually a crappy person. You're a crappy person. You're a crappy person. Just with so many people in that cast, I'm like, this aged so poorly. I used to love this movie,
Yeah.
but now I'm just that friend that's too woke. And like, but I think for me, the most special part of the SNL hosting debut was the monologue song,
Yes.
which
Yes.
it will just sometimes get stuck in my head. And like, if I feel like I'm gonna go on a tangent about something, I'm like, but I'm not gonna sing about that in my monologue. And it kind of stops me. But then I'm like, oh yeah, I should go and watch that again. Yeah.
Classic.
So.
Awesome. That's a great segue to some of her other roles. You mentioned Hannah Montana. She voices in The Lorax. She voices Audrey, who's a character based on Dr. Seuss's wife. Again, very imaginative, whimsical. All these roles are over the top comedy until you get to The Giver. And The Giver is again a very short, incredibly short cameo. I'm watching this film, this dystopian sci-fi. Like, is that Taylor Swift with brown hair? What's going on? And it's this very somber, quiet, calm moment, and it's definitely her dramatic debut. If you haven't seen this film, it's basically this hyper organized, super dictated society, and she's playing kind of the predecessor to the main character in his role of subverting that. And so
Yeah.
her character, had died tragically, and so that also sets up the stakes for the main character. So
It has nothing to do with the new Chapel Roan song. I'm
No.
so sorry. The polar opposites.
it's based on a novel,
Yeah,
some set of
from like
YA
the
novels.
90s or something, yeah.
Dystopian sci-fi. Interesting note there, because of her stardom. This is just as this a came out a few months after. A few months before 1989 came out. This came out. The Giver came out August 2014. 1989 came out November 2014. So she was very much, I mean, her stardom. This was her move to New York City. After Red, definitely picking up her global brand. And of course, in 1989, before 1989 and 2014, different years, her brand explodes and her fame explodes into the pop star realm. And so she was brought into a very small part, but she was brought in the marketing campaign for this film to say, okay, you're a big pop star. Can you help us market this film? Fast forward to 2 years ago, you're the world's biggest pop star. Can you help market this football league? Right? So, and I'm here for that. I'm a fan of that. But I don't know how much of these you were able to look into.
Yeah, so I'd already seen Hannah Montana,
Dean,
the
if you want to
movie.
get ready.
The Lorax, I saw that when it was in theaters as well. I have thoughts about stunt casting and animated features. We're not going to get into that because I do enjoy the Lorax, but I know when something is stunt casted, and it physically pains me. But that isn't to say that like she didn't do a phenomenal job. She is a person who is mostly known for her voice, so it's not like certain people getting to play beloved animated and video game characters because they're just really famous. I think having a distinctive voice is different from being known primarily for your voice. And so with all of that, it was my first time watching The Giver. Gonna be perfectly honest, I don't know how I missed that. Then again, I was going through a lot in Taylor's 1989 era, around and about there. So yeah, I don't know how I missed it.
It's also a very small cameo.
And bless you, Woody. And as a Star Wars fan who just finished playing Jedi Fallen Order, I was like, what the hell do you mean Cal Kestis is in this frickin' movie? So I was even more excited to watch it because I was like, oh my god, it's him. And he's a baby. And then Cats I haven't seen since the pandemic was in like full frickin' swing, and I was like shut in my house. I did not watch it legally. That is all I'm gonna say about Cats. I do like the song Beautiful Ghosts. I do not hate Cats as a musical. Andrew Lloyd Webber is not my favorite musical theater composer. All of those things can coexist. Amsterdam, it's not a bad movie. Taylor's role is definitely weird in it. The film itself is very weird as well. In good conscience, I can recommend The Lorax and The Giver. Neither of them, I would say, are 5-star movies. Hannah Montana, you kind of have to shut down everything you know about a lot of country music celebrities. Cats in Amsterdam, I don't think I would point to those two things and be like, if you want to love Taylor Swift, watch these. Because I was most of Cats, I was like, Taylor, what are you doing? And Amsterdam, I'm like 20 minutes in, oh, she's dead, and now I'm just stuck here with this movie. So
Yeah.
that was pretty much it for that.
Also,
Yeah.
the Lorax, the clips I saw of it, she sounds very different. She did a good job with the sound editing and whatnot. So, sorry. Anyway, we're getting all organized. What are we gonna do?
Now?
Yeah.
Cable over the computer.
Oh, cable over the computer. There we go. So, as you can see, we have a musical guest because Taylor
This is
Swift.
SNL now.
Yes, Taylor Swift is a musician, and we're gonna get into a special cover by
Yes.
the end of F105.
The only thing I don't like about a lot of modern performers is they say, "Is it okay if I sing you a song?" It's so disingenuous. I am going to sing you a song, whether you like it or not.
This thing where I get older, but just never wiser. Midnights become my afternoons. When my depression works the graveyard shift to all the people I've ghosted stand there in the room. I should not be left to my own devices. They come with prices and vices. I end up in crisis. I'm screaming from dreaming. One day I'll watch as you're leaving, 'cause you got tired of my scheming. It's me, high on the cloud, it's me, tea time, everybody agrees. I stare directly at the sun, but never in the mirror. Must be exhausting, always rooting for the anti-hero. Everybody's stuck in apathy, and I'm a gun dark on the hill. Too good to hang out, slowly lurching towards your favorite planet. Pierced through the heart, but never killed. Did you hear my covert narcissism? My disguise with altruism, some kind of congressman. Galactic set. I wake up screaming from dreaming. One day I'll watch as you're leaving, and life will lose all its meaning. It's me, high on the cloud. It's me, tea time, everybody agrees. I'll stare directly at the sun, but never in the mirror. Must be exhausting, always rooting for the anti-hero. I have this dream, my daughter-in-law kills me for the credits. She thinks I left them in the will. The family gathers round and reads it, and then someone screams out, she's laughing up at us from Mustafar. Hi, I'm the problem, it's me, it's me. Hi, it's me. Hi, everybody agrees, everybody agrees. It's me, and tea time, everybody agrees. I'll stare directly at the sun, but never in the mirror. Must be exhausting, always rooting for the anti-hero. I'm the problem, it's me, tea time, everybody agrees. I'll stare directly at the sun, but never in the mirror. Must be exhausting, always rooting for the anti-hero.
have to recommend doing something you've never done before, where you don't think you could do it, and it feels good when it works out. Thank you for helping me through my moment of forgetting the key.
And if I throw the 5, red button.
That's 6, right?
Yeah, don't worry.
There we go.
Teamwork.
There we go. Thank you.
There we go. Thank you so much.
That was great. That was fantastic. There you go. He's on a journey. We'll make him a Swiftie one day. Just kidding.
It's a slippery slope.
Yeah. So you can follow him F105 on Instagram. F105 Music. F105 Music. Instagram. Different socials. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. On tour. Check him out. He's great. Yeah. So Taylor Swift, she is a music star.
She is the music
Primarily,
industry.
she is the music industry. So let's talk about, as previewed, her music on screen. And again, the first place we'll go is with, through documentaries and concert films, and kind of a bit out of order here. Start with the documentaries. Did Miss Americana in 2020, and the one on on Netflix at first, I believe. No, yeah, that's on Netflix.
That was the first documentary, not concert film.
Yeah, and I remember the making of Lover, and trying to tour, hopefully trying to tour. I definitely remember it being for the conversations in the car. I very distinctly remember her talking about self-image and eating disorders, and her journey to body positivity, and amazing, this great inside look at this icon, and her being, again, just like in her music, so open and vulnerable with her struggles and her humanity, and it really gave us a look at that. Kind of even the conversations about politics at the time. If you need to calm down, and living in New York and dealing with paparazzi and all that stuff. The same year, Folklore, Long Pond Sessions. Again, the making of Folklore, and you actually see the making of Folklore, the recording. I don't know if it's the album itself, but
no, but there is an album of the Long Pond studio sessions, because this was. They did this in September of 2020, and Folklore dropped in July 2020. So it's the first time they got to actually do it all together.
Yeah. And I mean, that one really went into the impact of COVID on her music making, decision making. We'll get to the fact with Lover, she couldn't make a tour for Lover because of COVID, and so of course the whole story about her and Joe being in their apartment writing these albums and just sending them out into the world. And of course that's when so many of us became Swifties. Just her relationships and whatnot. Working with Aaron Dessner and this guy named Jack. and I'm watching it, and again, this is sort of my introduction to her. And I'm like, who's this Jack guy? Why does he keep interrupting her?
He was in the band Fun, and he's also in Bleachers, and we love him.
Yes, now I know who Jack Antonoff is. Don't worry. But yeah, and married to the impeccable Margaret Qualley. I should also reference.
I love her.
The Substance, great film. So that, and then I know we're missing a concert film reference. We'll get to that. But going a little bit back, then Reputation Stadium Tour, also streaming. And just watching that and the large-scale production of that seemed to be a harbinger of what eras would become. Then
Netflix should bring back the Reputation Stadium Tour.
Do something. Somebody should.
I will keep a Netflix subscription going if they do that for me. It's the one thing that they can do.
There we go. Oh, we got it. We got a T-shirt. There we go. Nice. And then the City of Lover. Again, you. I don't know if it's available to be seen now, but it's clearly so much subdued. The audio is now Lover Live from Paris. So if you can on Spotify there. And much pared down because of COVID. Just her and a guitar. You know, again, thinking about this era, this COVID era, her ability to really pare down, really focus in on telling stories, on communicating, connecting with people across the social distancing divide. We all remember that era. Through this pandemic. I mean, her stardom rose, her relevance rose, um, because her ability to speak to the wider culture rose in this time, and all these films, even early on, really start to speak to that. You want to speak especially to Miss Americana, but any of these stand out?
Yeah. Reputation Stadium Tour. Getting to see it on Netflix, even though that one was filmed in Dallas, it's the only way I've been able to experience that concert in full. Um, City of Lover, I have a complicated relationship with Lover. I love the album, naturally, but it came out at a very emotionally fragile time for me, and I was going through a lot. And so I wasn't as connected with it in that moment as I am now. I still love it. It's a Taylor Swift album.
Yeah.
There is no at least A-tier Taylor Swift album for me. And Folklore Long Pond Studio Sessions. Where's Evermore's Long Pond Studio Sessions? And I will always. I opened up I took the wrapping off of my Evermore CD and I opened it up, and there was a thing for the Folklore Long Pond Studio Sessions. I'm like, even in her own album, she's being overshadowed. And again, at the same time, I still really love Folklore and I love Evermore, but I was just like, this is just hilarious to me. And I would love to see something like the Long Pond Studio Sessions with Evermore, because it comes from that same time period. And I always want to hear what Taylor is thinking when she's creating, because I love the creative mind and I love to see what people do with that in different, I hate living in unprecedented times, but the things it does to the creative mind is astounding. With Miss Americana specifically, it's very much like as I've mentioned, I grew up listening to Taylor and going through all of these things. So I'm very still emotionally fragile about a lot of these things because they hit me at my core when I was a kid. She's only 8 years older than me, but it really hurt me because, not in a weird way, but it was just this person means a lot to me. And, I see a lot of her struggle and her pain at a young age within what I'm going through, and I find her music relatable. And now, I'm going into school the day after the VMAs in 2009, and everyone is shitting on her. And I was like, so, y'all hate her when she wins, but the second she's not winning, you're like, oh my God, she's actually really great. And it's just you just hate to see her win. And that's been a persistent thing. And just, I can't watch Miss Americana without a box of tissues right there, because it's that emotional for me, right? And I think that even if you are not a Taylor Swift fan, or if you know somebody who's I just don't understand her, this is the way to get people to see her connection to her craft and the way that she feels things so deeply. And even if they don't come out of it wanting to listen to her music constantly, I think having a better understanding for people will always make us more well-rounded, So, yeah.
Really well said.
Thank you.
And then, not to be outdone. Yeah, not to be outdone. So then in 2023, of course, in the theatrical release specifically, yes.
Tour.
And I had to make a full thing for this. Come on, because I mean, was the pinnacle, right? The tour itself has so far the pinnacle of her career. So therefore, the film has got to be the pinnacle of her on-screen career, somewhat, sort of. I'm going to get to what I think is really the crowning achievement of her film career so far. But you know, this thing, this is the only way I've been able to see Eras, right? And I can, you know, $20 at Cineplex or whatever it is, or the AMC New York, or in my streaming subscriptions and whatnot. A bunch of you, not jealous anymore, we're able to see it actually in person. Let's see it actually in person. But yeah, it was really brings the tour to us, and just the idea to release it in theaters and to give us this in theater concert experience. Brilliant. I will say the rehabilitation of Lover, in a way, because not that it needed rehabilitating, but again, because of COVID, lack of being able to tour. It was the first one album she owned herself, so the marketing was trying to find her feet. Here it's front and center at the very beginning. It's your first right in. It's the overture. The song Miss Americana is the overture.
Yeah.
And so really building up more steam for that album. I mean, even the colors, the opening thing, that's the Lover theme. So very quickly talk about Eras, the film.
Yeah, I think the Eras Tour film is spectacularly done because, you know, getting Taylor Swift tickets was fighting for your life in the Great War against Ticketmaster. And then you have people who were like scamming and shit, and that's ridiculous. But yeah, I have a personal story about that. I didn't get scammed. But it was probably very close, a little bit too close. But, you know, while the film itself was amazing, nothing could have emotionally prepared me for experiencing it in person. And, you know, the film is a good substitute. I have not gone back and watched it since I saw her live for the Eras Tour. While it's wonderfully produced, wonderfully directed, phenomenal, I watched the videos on my phone because otherwise I don't think that it was real, that I was there. So I need to look at my own evidence. And yeah, like, well, I haven't watched, like I said, I haven't watched it, you know, since. There are bits and pieces, like the things that got cut so that we could have the Tortured Poets department set.
Right.
I like watching the acoustic set, so that's still like, it's still really important to me that this exists and that it's so widely available, because there are so many Swifties that I know and love who are like, I didn't get to go, like this guy.
I tried.
He tried. And I tried to also see her in Toronto with other friends, and I was like, it just isn't feasible. So yeah, like it was a wonderful experience, because when it came out, I didn't think I was going to get to see it live.
Right.
So, yeah.
It'll be curious to see. Well, first of all, I mean, I think there is talk of. I mean, there were cameras in Vancouver, so like a whole crew in Vancouver. So
on stage, like in LA.
Yeah, just like this. So you know, possibly
Documentary.
or maybe a documentary. But I mean, I'd love to have like Eras Tour too.
The I Can Do It With a Broken Heart music video is just the trailer for the documentary.
Yeah, there we go. That's it right there. Speaking of music videos, you can very quickly. Wrapping up here. Quickly wrapping up, because I do want to talk a bit more about music videos, but because so, and these are just the ones that stand out to me. There's plenty. Delicate and The Man. So Delicate, it's a little early from Reputation 2017, but she does tell a full story through it. It's not so much a literal representation of the lyrics. It's completely different, but she gets more liberating and then disappointing and then liberating again. A theme here with Delicate and The Man, bringing forward her goofy over the top humor, especially The Man. This goofy over the top humor of her earlier career, on SNL and Valentine's Day.
It was also evocative of the Shake It Off music video.
Yeah.
With the people are like, oh, she's not a dancer. No, she's never claimed to be a dancer.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So the man is her directorial debut as a director. Again, pretty funny. There's just little Easter eggs like no scooters. If you guys get that one. Again, she hams it up, right? And it definitely is a literal representation of the lyrics. This guy named Tyler Swift with a man-spreading bearded boss dude. Looks like Justin Bieber, oddly enough. But anyway, that was great. The last thing I do want to talk about All Too Well is that a music video? Is it a short film? It's a short film. And to my mind, this is actually the pinnacle so far of her filmmaking career. She writes it, she directs it, she produced it, starring Sadie Sink and Dylan O'Brien.
And huge shout out to Sadie and Dylan because phenomenal. Yeah. I love them.
And kind of, the credit to Taylor for finding and being wanting to work with these folks. These are her friends. She loves working with them. It's able to motivate them and give them the direction as well. Obviously, they're pros. They know what they're doing. But her ability to handle a cast and handle a crew, with Delicate, kind of the visual and the song are a little separate. The man is a literal, but it's a music video. All Too Well. It fleshes out the deeper story of what I'd say her greatest song ever, objectively. There's this movingly raw drama of this couple that falls in and out of love and the memory of it years later. And I'll say I wasn't entirely clear about what the song was about until I saw the video. And so it's this question, I wanted to end with this because it's the moment she's evolved into this legit filmmaker. At this point, it was at TIFF, it was at other festivals. It is entirely the song, except with a bit of dialogue Taylor herself wrote that interrupts the song. This fight scene that is so brilliantly scripted and acted. She has this creative grasp of pacing and blocking and cinematography, story structure that it works with the song, but it really is the question. This is the question. It's not a music video. It's a short film. The song becomes the soundtrack to the film. Yeah. And it's still Taylor. It's all Taylor. But it's more Taylor the filmmaker, more than Taylor the songwriter. And so it's almost like the film, I don't want to say superseded the song, because you can also, it's all in eras and you can listen to it on Red TV. But there is just this elevation. It's made the song into something greater than itself. And so I did want to end with that. All Too Well. Thoughts, feelings, hopes, dreams.
I love that short film so much. I watch it so frequently. And I only just recently realized it was on Letterboxd. I'm like, I could not go back and possibly log every single viewing of this. But going forward, it will be logged. Which is going to reveal to me just how much of a problem I have. Because growing up, All Too Well was not one of my favorite songs. It was a fan favorite, but it was not my favorite song on Red. And then Red Taylor's version came out, and I fell in love with it in a different way. And I think part of it is because it feels more reminiscing, like 10 years down the road. And then I got to the 10-minute version, and it was like 2 o'clock in the frickin' morning or something. And I was on the ground, on the floor, sobbing, because I was like, this is just, like, so wonderful and deeply emotional and articulate. And then the short film happened, and I was like, you have to be kidding me. I'm literally crying over a Taylor Swift song, and that's nothing new for me. But it felt different this time, and I liked it. I like when art brings me to that level of where I just have to let it all out. because I cry a lot. I try to be really productive. It doesn't always happen. But yeah, I love that short film. It is a precious, precious thing that she gifted us with.
So I think that brings us to an end. We had a little bit of speculating.
Dazzler.
Dazzler and what's her name? Blonde Phantom. These just rumors. Disney Plus streaming, whatever, Marvel.
Rumors or just people clowning?
People clowning. I think the Blonde Phantom one seems a little more solid, but there's always questions of what's next, right? How do you top your those?
Yeah.
So,
I can see her directing a feature, and it will sell.
Yeah, for sure.
It will do really well. you
Here
know.
for one question. Or comment. Yes.
Yes.
That's for sure. That's for
When.
sure. Yeah.
Question's not if, it's when.
When. There we go.
Taylor, it should be now.
Should be yesterday.
We need it.
There we go.
In these unprecedented times.
Yes.
Do you also think Travis and her will be engaged soon?
I hope so.
Who knows?
I hope so.
Yeah.
But think about when Reputation came out, 2017, when we needed her the most. Less than a year into
That guy.
that guy in Office in America. This is the perfect year to
Yep.
drop it.
Not bad.
Because I need her more than ever. I need those vault tracks. I just need it. I need to feel the way that I did all of those other times where I was like, this is midnight and I'm starting an album that is 2 hours long. You know.
Just gonna So yeah. So our panel. We don't have too many time for questions, but we'll be around if you wanna come in.
If you want to yap with us.
Yeah, with us. But thanks again
We're
for joining
really
us.
cool.
If you have feedback, let us know. Just my socials, guys and socials.
It's me and Gabsy.
There we go.
My beloved.
All right.
Thank you very much.